Jordan. Thanks for the time. I remember the first, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks ago, the beginning of spring. You were saying kind of high leverage situations is what gets you out of bed in the morning. What is it about getting the ball in that moment? What is it that really gets your juices pumping?
Yeah, I really like going in kind of when the game's on the line, and it's just that nervous energy. You get a little anxiety, but you're also confident that you're going to get the job done. I kind of like all those feelings going into the game. So that's kind of, I guess, what I like about it.
I mean, you've had the opportunity late in games in a whole bunch of different roles already. Um, what have you learned most about it, and how have you evolved from the young kid who hadn't been through it before to whatever it is you are now in your baseball career?
Yeah, I think the most important thing I learned about it, especially like late in games, is every pitch matters. If you take a pitch off and you get beat by it, that could end up being the game right there. So it's really not taking a pitch off. I was a starter before, and if you give up a couple runs in the first, it's you can get through it, but seventh, eighth, ninth inning, you probably lose the game. So just take care of every pitch.
Thanks, man.
All right, now to Keegan.
Hey, Jordan, thank you for your time. With Yates down, of course, that closer's job being a bit more open, where do you stand on the, having a set inning versus being used throughout those later innings? Is it more comfortable for you? Do you care? And how does it change your preparation?
Yeah, I heard about the Yates news today, and he's a big part of this bullpen. So, we're just hoping to have him back pretty soon. I don't need a set inning. I kind of like it when they kind of spring it on me, that, hey, you're going in this inning. That kind of, I don't know. I like the anticipation and not really knowing. But yeah, seventh, eighth, ninth, whatever they ask me to do, I'll be ready.
So if you like getting that sprung on you, are you a guy who gets ready quickly in the bullpen? Is that almost an adrenaline rush you can kind of take downhill into the mound?
Yeah, I'd say probably from the fifth inning on, I'm getting locked in. Fifth inning, I don't really like people talking to me or joking me much. I'm kind of getting dialed in.
All right, thanks, Jordan.
All right, Ben.
Thanks for the time, Jordan. Just wondering, saw you throwing a lot of sliders there up to 97 today, and obviously the results were good. So I'm wondering from a physical standpoint, as you guys head into that final stretch of spring training, how you're feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm actually getting my first back-to-back tomorrow, so today and then tomorrow. But yeah, everything's feeling good. Timings with my deliveries starting to feel a lot better too, but physically feel 100%.
Nice. And that'll be your first back-to-back since, I guess, last season at this point?
Yeah, that's right. I think most relievers probably do a back-to-back before we start the season just to make sure, So yeah, that'll be the first one.
Nice. Good luck. Thanks.
Rob Longley.
Hey, Jordan. We talked to Pete the other day, and Pete Walker the other day, and he said of you, he said he sees you as a closer in the making. How ready are you to take on that role if it comes your way, and how do you see yourself embracing it if it comes to that?
Yeah, I think just last year and even this spring, talking to a lot of the guys like Yates, Phelps, some of the veteran guys. If they need me in the ninth, I'll be ready for it. Seventh, eighth, whenever that may be. I'll be ready.
It's spring training. We all realize that, but you seem to be in pretty solid form right now. How would you compare it to where you were in August and early September last year?
Yeah, I feel really similar. In spring training, you're still kind of like work on things and fix some things. So obviously I'm still getting in the groove a little bit, but I'm feeling really good for this time of spring.
Thanks, Jordan.
Scott, you're up.
Hey, Jordan, thanks for the time. Just wondering, did Pete or Charlie come and talk to you today after you heard the Yates news and communicate anything to you about, how your role could change or what it would be?
No, they haven't said anything to me today.
Cool. And then you mentioned kind of just working on some things. Is there one thing in particular that you're trying to tighten up over these last kind of 10 days heading into that first series?
Yeah, well, just from a mechanical standpoint, I felt like I was my direction was a little off early on, like a little cross my body. So I was just trying to clean that up, kind of land more square. If that makes sense. So I've been working on that, and it's been feeling really good.
You feel like you're able to do that tonight? Is there something that you kind of focus on physically to be able to fix that?
Yeah, actually, I it's gotta use the glutes a little bit more. You know, get into that glute. So, yeah.
We all do, man. Thank you.
All right, Mike Wilder.
Hey, Jordan, thanks for doing this. In saying that you want to be surprised, you don't want to know when you're going to be working and that sort of thing. If they were to come to you and say, hey, Yates is down, we want you to be the ninth inning guy, how would that make you feel?
Oh, again, it doesn't matter when they call me. Seventh, eighth, ninth. I'll be ready to take the ball. If that's in the ninth, I'll be ready to go.
But is it something special to you that they would say, hey, we want you to be the guy?
I think it's always cool to like close out a game and get a win. So yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Okay, thank you.
Now to Caitlin.
Hey, Jordan. I remember a few weeks ago you mentioned that you sort of wanted to talk to Kirby Yates a little bit, sort of pick his brain on all the experiences that he's had. I wondered if you were able to do that.
Yeah, actually, we just I think it was after maybe my third outing. We just talked about pitch location and what he saw for me and what he think would help me a little bit. So we just talked about that briefly, and so yeah, just begin to pick his brain a little bit.
We talked to Marcus Simeon yesterday, and he made a point about how hitters can help each other when they see things. They can be each other's hitting coaches. And I wondered if that's the same sort of general feeling amongst pitchers, and whether pitchers can sort of help each other out, and if your bullpen and the whole entire staff are like that this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. For example, I'm throwing partners with Barucki. And when my direction was kind of getting off, he would be sure to tell me in plain catch, like, hey, man, your direction is getting a little off. We got to clean it up. So I think that's how all the pitching staff is. If we see something, we'll try to give tips to one another and just help everyone out.
Great. Hope you're enjoying the Oral Roberts run here.
Oh, I love it. I'm so proud.
Congrats.
Thanks.
And now to Shy.
Hey, what's up, Jordan? Thanks for doing this. You mentioned when we chatted with you at the beginning of the spring that you had gotten that feeling and confidence back in the finger with when you were ripping off sliders, and hitters really weren't doing much with it today. I'm just wondering where you feel you are with the slider and the type of conviction you have when you're throwing it right now.
Yeah, so I feel like especially my last two outings. So I threw in a sim game, and then today. And I felt like my slider was kind of in mid-season form these last two outings. So definitely, I feel like I have the feel back. I could throw it a little slower, a little harder. So it's coming along how I want it.
All right. And just in terms of, are you looking to do anything different with that pitch this year, or you just wanted to repeat the way it was last year?
Nothing specific. I just want to throw it for strikes when I need to and bury it when I need to. Nothing really specific I'm working on with it.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Now back to Mike.
Had to go to the back of the line, but Jordan, the Blue Jays said that for Yates, it's going to be multiple weeks. We don't know how long, but obviously he's not going to be back anytime soon. Last year, you hadn't really established yourself yet, but what was the feeling like in the bullpen last year at the Trop when Giles went down?
So Giles last year, he's the leader of the bullpen, and that's kind of how Yates is this year. So whenever a guy like that goes down, it's definitely a big blow. So we're just going to try to pitch as well as we can until he gets back, and until the leader gets back. So yeah, that's it. It always sucks when a guy like that goes down.
You had DeLeese and Barucki last year. Anthony Bass was here too. Now it's Chatwood and Phelps. How much do those two guys and their experience help with this?
Oh man, like Chatwood Phelps, they've been doing it a long time. They've seen almost anything you can in this game. So, it's great to have veteran, leadership in the bullpen like that.
All right, thanks.
And batting cleanup, Arash.
Hey, Jordan, one last thing. You talked about the experience and the guys you've been around. If there's been a teammate, a player, a coach, somebody along the way who's really provided you the most insight that's helped at the big league level, who is it? Who do you think it would be? What do you think some of that advice was? What do you think, whatever it is that really has stood out and allowed you to take a big step forward, what do you think that would be?
You know what? A big one for me was Giles. After a couple outings last year, he'd always be like, "Hey man, you should do this with your timing," or I think we should have thrown this there. And he just, kind of challenged me to really think and pay more attention to detail out there, and just little tips along the way. I feel like he really helped me, and I had a lot of respect for him. So it meant a lot that he would take the time out and really try to help me.
And the thinking being in the preparation going into an outing, or right out there on the mound, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, it was kind of just one outing. He saw me really rushing it, and he's like, "Hey man, when you're out there, it's going to be games on the line. We just got to slow it down. You can't rush. You got to think about every pitch still." So just little stuff like that he'd tell me every so often. So that meant a lot.